Hey everybody, Jake here from Bearded Gear, and I have a package to open. Some of the knives in here are mine, but some of them are not. So my buddy Jason, who is one of the fearless leaders of the Millie PM2 Para 3 Club, he and I have this cool thing where we send each other knives. I send him stuff he thinks, or that I think he should check out. He sends me stuff he thinks I should check out, or if either one of us has knives that the other one wants to check out, we just kind of let each other know. And I'll link down below to his YouTube, the Millie PM2 Para 3 Club YouTube, where he posts videos of the knives that I've sent him. So you'll see some videos of my knives over there, and also a whole bunch of other knives as well. And I really appreciate his commentary, by the way, on the knives that he reviews. I just like the way that he looks at things. Very intelligent guy. Anyway, we've now sent each other knives back and forth a handful of times each. So he is sending me back the couple of knives that I loaned him, and he's sending me a couple of things to check out. There should be some Vero knives in here, which I have been really looking forward to checking out. Speaking of which, on his YouTube channel, the Millie PM2 Para 3 Club, you can find that there is a like a Q&A, really kind of long form. I think he split it up into 4 or 5 segments for YouTube, but he did a Zoom call with Joseph Vero from Vero Knives, Vero Engineering, and they talked all about his current offerings, some of the stuff that's upcoming, and it was a really cool in-depth conversation with Joe over there. So if you're into that kind of thing, check that out. And I'll link as well, not just to his YouTube, but to their Instagram, the Millie PM2 Para 3 Club, and to the Facebook group. If you're not in that Facebook group and you are into the Millie, the PM2, or the Para 3 at all, or even just Spyderco's, that is my favorite group on Facebook, hands down, no doubt. So let's see what we're working with here. I recognize some of these. I need to get more like little soft cases to send knives in, because I keep sending stuff to him that's just like wrapped up in microfiber towels and hanks and stuff. Alright, so I'm going to assume that these are the knives he sent me in the Vero pouch. There it goes. Real quick, I'm going to go ahead and just make sure that these are in good order in here as well. These should be the knives that I loaned him. I loaned him, let's see, it should be the Benchmade Mini Freak in S90V and carbon fiber, and the Protec Malibu, and also the TRM Neutron. So let's make sure all 3 of these are in here. Excellent. So, my Malibu has returned. I have missed this knife. My Mini Freak has also returned. I have missed this knife. And, perfect, the TRM Neutron. I've missed this knife as well, although I just sold this knife. This is going to my buddy John over at BGM Knives. He was looking for one. Now that I have my Atom, I just haven't been carrying this as much. I haven't been carrying it at all since I sent it to Jason, but he was on the lookout for one, and I figured, why not let him enjoy it now? I've had my time with the Neutron, and I'll probably end up getting another one at some point, but gotta help the buddies when they're looking for something. Now, let's see what we have in here. Goodness, this feels more full than it should. Maybe I'm crazy. Oh no, just 2 knives. Okay. So, in here we have the Synapse, which is the smaller one, and the Impulse, which is the larger model. These are both of his 2 current models. So, the rest in here looks like there's like some stickers and stuff. I like that he makes this patch that velcros onto here. It looks like that's the Synapse. It's the one that's got some scales on it. But I've been really interested in checking out both of these knives for a while now. Ever since I first saw on Instagram pictures of these knives, I thought they were gorgeous. And I think the first drop I missed. I just happened to like not see it happen in time. And then the second drop, I think it was just bad time monetarily. Like I didn't have the money, didn't have the funds sitting in PayPal when I had the opportunity. So I passed on it, and I've been kicking myself a little bit since. But this is the Synapse. It's a really cool looking knife. Jason warned me it's a little off center from when he reassembled it. It didn't quite go back 100% right, so I may see if I can fiddle with it, get it right on center. But let's see how the action is. It middle finger flicks. That is a good sign. And let's see how the flipper goes. It's a good flipper. Excellent. Yeah, this is really cool. I like the dimensions of this one. I feel like in my head this was going to be smaller than it actually is. Because, I don't know. I knew that it's the smaller of the two designs. So maybe if this one's a little bigger than I was expecting, maybe that's going to be bigger than I think it is as well. This is really, really nice. So this one is numbered 49 of 200. Let's see if I can show you that. This is Jason's personal knife. Really like that belt satin. Looks really, really good to me. This one has the red carbon fiber, but it's like the end cut carbon fiber. So you can see it's got this really cool kind of weave moving this way. And one thing I saw Joseph say in one of the videos about his Bacon Damascus ones of these, which unfortunately I did not win one, or win the lotto to buy one. Part of why he was saying he really wanted it to be Bacon Damascus was because with this material, it would have these lines running up through the knife, including the blade, which I think looks really cool when you see the photos of his Bacon Damascus ones. Oof, it's a cool material to begin with. But all right, so that is the Synapse. Now let's check out the Impulse as well. Okay, yeah, this is bigger than that for sure, and it is bigger than I was expecting it to be. So that makes sense. They're both just a little bigger than I had in my head. That is awesome. So this one has a Tanto. Look at that profile. The aesthetic properties of these knives, they look so good to me. Joseph has these designs being built by Bestech, and in the last while I've seen Bestech really kind of advance to where like this is it's a really well made knife. And I feel like, I don't know, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, if you would have told me Bestech was even capable of something like this, I don't think I would have believed you. We were talking about it a little bit as well on the Sharp Talk podcast last Sunday. Alex has a Synapse right now, and I hadn't held one of these yet, but I've had one of the Adam Purvis knives. I got the first progeny from the Knife Nuts podcast version, and that was made by Bestech. And that was my first experience with like a nice Bestech that I owned. Not that Bestech's, not that I've ever had a bad one, but that was like, I couldn't really believe it was made by Bestech. And we were talking about it a little bit. We kind of came to the conclusion that we don't think Bestech is quite at the level of Riat. I hear a lot of people start to say like, Bestech's making knives as good as Riat. I don't know. I feel like they're probably about tied with Wii from what I can see, but I still think Riat is just, as Chinese-made knives go, kind of the creme de la creme. But this is freaking close, man. This is really good. All right, so yeah. Sorry, I keep looking at this and not talking so much about it. So we've got titanium scales, of course. We do have a hardened steel insert with an over travel stop. If you look at the lock side here. One thing I really like design-wise is that instead of putting a hole in the blade, he puts this slot. It's like this machined out pocket. And with that, you still get a super sterile show side of the knife. The only way it could really get more sterile is if it was an integral, so you didn't have screws back here, which he has an integral coming. And then I guess if there was a way to like hide the pivot, but I don't think you'd really want to do that. It's probably better to have the pivot accessible. But yeah, like it's just the profile of that. It looks so freaking good. And then the blade shape too is simple, but it has just enough going for it that it's not boring at all. This swedge is gorgeous, and it shows off that belt satin finish really, really well. You get enough of a flat carrying through here that A, that should help with sharpening, and B, it looks good to me. But yeah, that pocket allows you to spidey flick the knife, which is something important to Joseph from what I understand, based on the things I've heard him say. So I like that you get that pocket there, and it gives you that ability while keeping the knife sterile on the show side. And what's cool too is you get like this super simple side, but then the lock side also looks fantastic because his clip design is really, really good. The way the lock bar is cut, the shape there of that little pocket, looks amazing to me. I really, really like the aesthetics of this side, and I like that it's like the more dramatic side, so you've kind of got options. Like if you're someone like me who takes a lot of pictures of your knives for Instagram, this is cool because you've got an either-or thing happening there. Oof. Yeah, this is really sweet. I like too that he puts Vero on the spine of the blade. That's kind of like one of the things that I love about the ProTech Malibu is that it's on the spine instead of on the face. That helps that whole thing, like I keep saying, how kind of sterile and clean the whole knife looks. That's fantastic. So there is some internal milling as well. It's not the most extensive internal milling that I've seen in terms of how many spots have material taken out, but it is deep, the cuts that are in there. And this knife feels heavy, but I mean, this is got to be over 3.5 inches, maybe 4 inches of blade. And so, yeah, I don't know. I feel like maybe it's like 3.75, if I'm not mistaken. Could be totally wrong. Not the specs guy. Anyway, it's a lot of blade. And so for this size knife, being a titanium frame lock, I feel like this weight is really reasonable. I wouldn't call it light. Not trying to say that, but for the construction here, this feels good. Ergos feel nice. All right, yeah, I don't mean to turn this into my first impressions. This is just an unboxing and kind of my inspection as it came out of the packaging, but this is really cool. And so is the little one. It'll be interesting to see which of these I end up liking more at the end of this little experiment, because they are both really, really cool knives. And I don't know. Yeah, this will be interesting because this is a little bigger than I was expecting it to be. I feel like my worry with this knife was that it was going to be smaller than I'd want. This knife certainly isn't too big for my preferences, but it's intriguing that the Synapse is such a legit size. Interesting. This is going to be a fun one. All right, well, thank you to my buddy Jason of the Millie PM2 Para 3 Club. Jason is a legend. Really cool dude. If you guys haven't seen as well, they are doing a raffle currently for Eric Shepard of Shepard CC Scales. And so if you haven't entered that, it's a ton of really, really cool prizes that are possible to win. And it's to help somebody who could use it right now. So check that out if you haven't. It's a good group of guys in that Facebook group. We've already crushed the original goal. So that's fantastic to see. Anyway, these are cool. Thanks, Jason. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you taking the time, and I'm excited to start feeling these out a little bit more. These are intriguing. Awesome. Thanks, guys.